Hey guys, I'm Ravel. This is a Geek Out of Place. Today is going to be kind of a vlog style, but it's also going to be an introduction to a new series I hope to be continuing here for who knows how long. I started playing D&D and I freaking love it. Oh boy, this is going to be weird, kind of rambly. I've got a loose idea. I don't have a script. I'm not doing that today. Yeah, D&D. I'm sure since my audience is mostly nerds, you all have an idea of what D&D is, so I won't break it down here. I'm not going to explain D&D. This isn't a how to play D&D video, but in case you don't know, you've never played before, you're curious about it, kind of like I was, and I'll get into my history with it, but D&D is basically, I like to call it imagination with rules. You get to put yourself in the shoes with friends at a table, role-playing an epic adventure. You get to be heroes, you get to be villains, you get to be evil people. It is so much freaking fun. Not to mention, I've actually started being a dungeon master. I started playing D&D just in March, so probably since the last video was uploaded here on my channel. By a little background, I've actually been wanting to play D&D for years. I've probably heard of it. I've heard of it, and I was kind of just wondering what is this thing? I don't know. I don't care too much. But when I first saw the community episode where they play Dungeons and Dragons, that's what really got me going. So this must have been 2011 when I really got the itch. I got my hands on a digital copy of the 3.5 edition rulebook. I don't even think I read the rules too well. I think I just knew the character of the races. I didn't have any friends at this point in my life. I was just such a loner then that I didn't even bother seeking out people to play with. I just wanted to play. Never got around to it. And I kind of just let that die until earlier this year when I finally bit the bullet and started watching Critical Role. Not to mention a few other gaming channels I follow also play D&D, and I thought, hey, you know what? This is fun. I want to get into it. So in March, around St. Paddy's Day, I convinced my wife to play the starter set, The Lost Mines of Phandelver, with me. She was kind of meh, but she was willing to go along with it. So I bought the starter set. I decided, even though as much as I want to play, I'm going to be the dungeon master for this game. So I ran the game with her. We had a whole setup. We only played together. It was the two of us, which is entirely possible. It's called the starter set because it's specifically made for new players of Dungeons and Dragons 5e to sit down, play a game without having to pore over everything, all the rule books. And after a few sessions, we absolutely loved it. She loved it a lot more than I thought she would. And we had a blast. And so after, it's only, you can pick it up for $25 at a local game store, Target, Walmart, whatever. After we realized, this is actually a hobby we can get into. This is something we can actually do together to kind of bond and have some fun. We went ahead and bought the core rule set, the Player's Handbook and the Dungeon Master's Guide. I bought them both, and then I bought the Monster Manual. I have it on my bookshelf. And then I started creating a world for Dungeons and Dragons. I started homebrewing my own. And oh boy, this scratches an itch. So to give you a little history about myself, this is something I don't really talk about on this channel so much. I'm a writer. I write fiction. I've been working on a novel. I have several short stories published on free websites. As long as I can remember, I've loved fantasy. When I was really little, my mom would read to me and my sisters, and it always ended up being some form of fantasy. When Harry Potter first got big, she read Harry Potter to us. I tried reading The Lord of the Rings when I was 10 or 11, around when the movies started getting hype. I couldn't do it. I have them and I've read them since. I've read them once or twice since, but oh God, that's a tough read when you're 10. As long as I can remember, I've loved fantasy worlds. I've loved fantasy. I've loved magic mechanics. I've loved epic heroes and epic quests. And as much as I've always wanted to, of course, be a hero in an epic quest, an epic fantasy, I've wanted to create those same worlds and stories. I'm really big into geography, geology, geographic topography. When I got the chance to create a world and understand that dungeon mastering, especially homebrew dungeon mastering, is as much writing as it is mechanics and running a game, especially in 5e when they really emphasize world building and setting building and NPC building. Not to mention, I still have aspirations to be a game designer. I'm honestly surprised at myself that I never got around to doing this sooner, because it is scratching all these itches for me to make games, to make settings, to make worlds, to draw maps. Here is one continent of my homebrew world that all my campaigns are now set in. Oh, I talked a lot. Yeah, this is, again, kind of rambly, but I just want to show you how excited I am that I now have this passion, and I can't wait to start introducing D&D content to this. So now for the nitty-gritty stuff. What I want on this channel for D&D content are two different series. First of all, I told you about, I have a whole planet I've basically made it, and I'm still making, that my campaigns are set on. There are locations, cultures, rules, customs, gods. I have a whole pantheon of gods, and I want to not only show off on this channel what I've made, maybe some lore stories, maybe some world building, but also maybe get some collaborative stuff going on here. I don't have everything made, and it's nearly impossible to make a whole 15,000 year history of a planet with multiple continents. And as much as I have that written down, as much as I have made, it'll be fun to fill out some of the stuff I don't have, and I like to do that with an audience, with a as a collaborative exercise. The second series I want, as far as YouTube content as far as content on this channel goes, is campaign diaries. Since I've been running D&D weekly, if we'll say average, every other week for the past 6 or 7 months. Not only do I have a lot of stories racked up, but I just started a new campaign with a couple players, my wife and another. I would love to describe their exploits as a proper story. Also keep in mind that I'm just a guy with a camera. I'm not an artist. I'm not an animator. So if I'm gonna get this ball rolling, it's just gonna be me talking. Think Matt Colville and his campaign diaries. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. I would also love to build a small community out of my D&D content. I would love to get some traction going in the comments, some healthy discussion. So yeah, that's basically this video. I'm playing D&D. I want to talk about it. I want to share it with you guys. So if you're into that, guys, let me know in the comments. Give this video a like to know that, hey, yeah, D&D is cool. If you like D&D, let me know. To mention that, yeah, just D&D is one thing, but I also have the rule set for Vampire the Masquerade, not to mention Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, which is a mouthful to say. It's coming out soon. I'm going to play that, and I want to play the tabletop game version of it. You know I love Fallout. You know, there's a Fallout RPG coming out next year, which I want to get my hands on. And I'm going to sneak this in here. I wrote my own mechanics for a one-shot, it's called a one-sheet rule tabletop RPG. It's called Something Wicked This Way, Rads. And if you know the reference, you must spend a lot of time on Tumblr. I'll talk more about that later, but I do have the rule set written down. They're free. They're in testing phase. I want to round it out. I'm sneaking this in at the end. We'll talk more about it on another video, but link is down below to the Word document you can download, Google Doc or something. So thank you guys for watching. I'm Ravel. This is a Geek Out of Place. Subscribe if you want to see more Let's Plays. Subscribe if you want to see D&D stuff. And catch y'all next time.